individuals with hoarding just don't see things the way they are. We might look at it and see it as junk, and they might feel like it's a Picasso, right? It's got such an amazing feeling to them, and there's this notion also for people of hoarding about the tangible experience of something. What if someone wonders, what did a In-N-Out burger cost in 1973? Well, I've got a receipt for that somewhere. I'll within a few weeks I'll be able to find that for you and let you know. I could also look it up online and probably find it within 5 seconds, but that just doesn't have the same feeling though as knowing that, wow, but wouldn't it be cool to actually see and touch the actual receipt from 1973 from the burger place, right? And just to have it, and what if you thought that was really cool, and oh, that would just warm my heart to know that you felt so good about the fact that I'd saved something, and I have this thing. So there's there's the executive functioning aspect about how do I organize things? Can I get things organized? Putting things off till later to organize it, not actually seeing it for what it is. There's the joy of having something. There's the fear of, if I don't have it, I won't have the memory of it. Why do I still have all the baby clothes for my children who are now over 60 years old? Because I never want to forget what it was like when they were babies. So I still hold on to all of those things. And yes, they've been through 3 floods and they're full of mold and dirt, but I still don't want to part with them because I'm fearful that if I don't have them, that I won't remember them anymore. So many things that go on with hoarding like that. Jacob, are there others that you see as well that contribute to that hoarding experience?
As far as like the felt experience that they go through.
Yeah, well, one that I think about what you said, when a relative dies, there seems to be another one that always inherits all of the stuff, and you've probably had to deal with that too, right? That if I if we don't keep this as a repository of the things of the past, then they'll be lost forever. Right? Have you seen
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
yeah. No, you definitely get a lot of clients who they want that catalog
yeah,
of their entire life history, because that's their life. That's where their time and energy was spent, and losing that, getting rid of that, is almost like sacrificing it to a point. Like they own it and they have the physical manifestation of owning that past history. And when they are in a position where they have to let go, it's almost like losing a piece of themselves that they've attached to their belongings. So that's
yeah.
why it's like when you're trying to talk with family members about, let's get rid of this stuff, like a lot of people don't understand that they've personally attached themselves to that stuff. And that's in a way sacrificing a part of them. And that's a difficult thing to do. So,
Right. And hoarding can be related to other things. It's in the OCD and related conditions. So there could be obsessive compulsive disorder along with hoarding. You, Jacob, have described about the depression that people can experience and maybe just the lack of motivation to get up and actually do anything. And then as the stuff grows, it gets harder and harder to even deal with it because where do I even begin? And just having to figure out where to start can be overwhelming for folks. So they just don't start at all. You may have people who've been through traumatic experiences and they literally use the hoarded things to build a wall of protection around them. Like, no one can ever come in here, and this will always be my safe place. And this stuff protects me from all sorts of other people. Some people even build booby traps to get into and out of their homes of the hoards, so that it literally is this fortress that they have. And people have died in these situations where things have shifted and stuff has fallen and people have been crushed like that, and it's really dangerous. There's even some studies in Australia that talk about, while fires occur in hoarding homes at a rather low level, the amount of life lost and damage to property is significantly more in those situations than it is in any other type of fire that the firefighters have to go through. So we know that it is a dangerous situation and that things may be happening in people's lives that are getting difficult, but I'm thankful, Jacob, that they have someone like you that they can reach out to, and who will offer them help and encouragement and some kind of assistance so that they can get a start on moving in the direction that they want to go.
100%. Yeah, it's a very complicated, multifaceted issue, and there's no one size fits all for everybody. And so that's what I really hope to do with the channel, as to kind of be that starting ground of, if you know something needs to get done, start here, and it can help guide you in whatever direction might be most appropriate based off of your situation and circumstances. So, Dr. Patrick, I did have a question for you. So,
Awesome.
as you know, a large part of my audience, they personally know someone or personally care about someone who's going through extreme clutter, hoarding, squalor, things like that. Um, and they care about them a lot. They want to do something to help, but obviously approaching someone you care about their home and the filth that they may or may not be living in is a really, really difficult conversation to have.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for quite some time. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on maybe some of the best approaches, maybe some frameworks, maybe a script, if you know one, of something someone could say to their loved one who is in a bad situation, and they just want to let them know that they're here to help and want to help them make progress.
Well, a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. And I think the genuineness in the situation is really important. It's approaching it with love and encouragement instead of, oh my God, what a disgusting place this is. How can you live like this? I can't believe it. I'm going to call the police on you. That's a great way to have someone never speak to you ever again for the rest of your life, right? So the opposite, the I'm concerned. I see what's going on here, or I know that you won't let me inside, but I can see a little bit past you and what's happening. I want to help. And maybe it feels overwhelming, maybe it feels embarrassing, but I want to be sure that you're living the life that you want to live and not feeling overwhelmed by hoarding or any other potential things that are really getting in the way of you being able to flourish. I remember us going out and doing things in the past and what it felt like and how much fun we had. And we don't do that anymore. And be that you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, maybe it is hoarding. And I know not everyone likes to hear that word, and I don't throw that around lightly, but know that I want to support you and I can help you and get you connected to people who are trained in this, who can really help. uh, and sometimes then just being able to leave it like that, because the person may not be able to give you an answer right there, and that just the fact that you brought it up might feel a little jarring to them, and they're like, well, and the hemming and the hawing. And so to say, you don't have to decide today, but know that I'm going to keep making sure that things are going to be okay here, because I wouldn't be a good friend or a good spouse or partner or cousin or whatever if I didn't make sure that you were okay.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really good way to approach something like that. And maybe, my other question here was, maybe that's not something that a family member or loved one could even say, but how would you introduce the idea of professional help, whether it be therapy
Mhm.
or something else? Because therapy has a stigma to it.
Sure.
Like, what do you mean? You think I should go through therapy? Like, check yourself. Is kind of
Yeah.
the general reaction to it. Um, how do you generally, how would you suggest people kind of go about that?
I think that you could say something along the lines of, if you're willing and able to let me try to help, I'd like to see the house. I'd like to come in and try to assist you. And if that you are willing to go in and work with the person, do a few days of that, right? Or a few, not like full days, but you come in, maybe you work for an hour, you see the amount that you've done, and you say to them, if we stay on this pace of doing this for an hour a day, and this is about how much space we get through every day, looking at the size of your home, this might take about 4 years for us to get, as long as you never bring anything in after today.
Mm,
I think we could do it quicker if we enlisted the help of other people who are professionals in this. And I know saying that may seem like I think you're crazy or it's just too overwhelming. Know that that's not the case. Know that I want what's best for you, and it's it's on me in the sense that I want to be the one who helps you find the person that is going to be the right person for you. But I don't think you and I alone are going to be able to tackle this in an amount of time that is going to be satisfying to you. And though it may feel overwhelming to bring someone else in, I will be there to be sure they're compassionate and helpful and that you are not overwhelmed by that situation. And all I need then as a therapist is a release from the person whose home I'm working with for that friend. And I can coordinate between the two of them. They can be my right hand because I could do this virtually. They could be my right hand person in the home who's helping me to guide them through the things that I'm trying to teach them about hoarding.
Mm. I like that approach a lot. Having that extra support person, because that's usually the case. It's someone kind of enacting on the behalf of someone else because they genuinely care and love them. It A lot of people in these situations don't care about themselves enough to want to get professional help, sort of thing.
Right.
But when they see a loved one being like, "Hey, I really care about you. Like this is hurting me," I think having that teamwork is going to be really, really helpful with actually getting to see results at a decently fast rate and not over the course of years. So,
Absolutely. Uh, we don't want to rush this, right? Because if we rush it, then we make mistakes. And if you make a mistake, like you said, throwing out money or a valuable, you've lost the trust, right? So I don't need to be heavy handed coming into the experience and force the situation, but I'm always going to be nudging people to move forward because once I define the goal, which is I want my grandchildren to come over or I want friends to come over for dinner, whatever that is, I'm going to keep reminding the person about why we're doing this and what the goal of this whole experience is.
mm,
Because there will be days where they're going to push back.
of course, of course. Awesome. Sweet. I appreciate that. I think that's some really helpful insight for a lot of people kind of in this situation right now. So,